Jasprit Bumrah and his back are talk of the town these days, and we know the reasons for that. Jasprit Bumrah, owing to that back injury that occurred or that happened, will not be traveling with the Indian team for the T20 World Cup, and that's a huge setback. Athletes and physiotherapists or doctors, they have a huge entourage of medical experts, and one of them we also have, who's going to talk about the injury that Jasprit Bumrah has sustained, and a lot of other things as far as biomechanics is concerned. I have with me Dr. Saif, who has worked with a lot of athletes, not just cricket, but with a lot of Olympians as well. He's worked with the UP, that is Uttar Pradesh Ranji Trophy team. He's worked with services and a lot of other Ranji Trophy teams, besides being part of Sunrisers Hyderabad, Delhi Capitals or Delhi Daredevils, and Gujarat Lions. Dr. Saif is with us, and we're going to talk about what exactly happened to Jasprit Bumrah. Firstly, Dr. Saif, I would like to know, is it because I remember in 2018 when Jasprit Bumrah made his test debut, India went to South Africa. He made his test debut in South Africa. Michael Holding was commentating, and he said a lot about Jasprit Bumrah's bowling action, and he said that in times to come, Bumrah will have issues with his back. And here we are. This is not the first time that Jasprit Bumrah has had an issue with his back. So is it because of the action, or there is something else?
See, when you talk about biggies predicting the outcome of a player, it's a triple-bound game. So how did it do that? It's a different talk of the show. If we talk about Jasprit Bumrah's action, and we want to discuss further as to what are the benefits and the negatives of this action, is a different thing. When you talk about a bowler who enters an Indian cricket team with an orthodox action, all right, so we are not going to change his action,
right, because
he's just orthodox. You see orthodox people who have just entered the cricket, they have created a big name. You talk about Vakajinus, the action was never seen. You talk about Lasith Malinga, the action was never seen. You talk about Jasprit Bumrah, the angle was never seen.
Right.
So this orthodox angle creates a kind of advantage for the bowler also.
Right.
So why do you want to change it? So when Michael Holding was commenting about Jasprit Bumrah's angle, the prediction came in, if you read a book called Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, he's a good psychologist. So he says, a person who used to flip a ball and hit it, he could predict that it's going to be a double fault or it's going to be a fault. Why? Because his usual action was different from what his natural capability was. Jasprit Bumrah is vulnerable to injury because his action, not because his action is orthodox, but because is his action being maintained for a long while or not? Let's say if his action is like this, his hand comes this far. After an year, is the hand coming closer to ear or is going even further away?
Okay.
See, so now if the angle comes like this, whether he's getting close to the ear or is going away. So what is the difference between Jasprit Bumrah's angle today and how his health is going to predict his outcome a year before? How far is angle going to go? So Michael Holding, as an ace fast bowler, knows that with time, as a athlete ages, his jump decreases, elevation of the arm decreases, extensibility of the back decreases because of stiffness in the ligaments and the tendons. Okay, and then the ankle mobility decreases. So with these abnormalities in orthodoxy in angle, when it is compromised by the flexibility, definitely he is more prone to injury than other players. It's not that he's going to be injured. It's like predictability of injury with these people, because they are bowling in for sharpness from an unorthodox angle, increases. So now if we need to pick up this player or maintain that thing, don't think about changing his action. Think about how you can maintain this drag. Okay. How is his hand not going to go down? How is his jump going to maintain?
So are you trying to say that if Jasprit Bumrah would have maintained his action throughout his career, ever since he started playing, he wouldn't have suffered these many injuries?
He has been maintaining this angle, but the deal is that what is the cost of maintaining this angle? How are you living up to this cost? You buy a big house which costs you a little more. Do you have this amount of finances in your pocket that you need to patch up for the loss? Are you able to make up for the loss? Or are you loaning the amount to buy this house, or are you loaning this amount to procure this? How much is the liability? So now, to maintain this kind of angle and predictability of force, what is Jasprit Bumrah doing to do it? And how is he going to maintain it? If the hand is going just an inch closer to the ear, is he able to maintain that flexibility throughout 5 years or 10 years of his career? If it is going further away, you are 100% sure that this angle is going to kill him.
Okay, this is I get it, what you are saying. Now the next question is, what is being reported, what we've learned is that Bumrah had that stress reaction, which I believe, what I have from people I've spoken to, they're saying the next stage is stress fracture. If stress reaction is not dealt with in time, the next stage is stress fracture. Can you actually explain what exactly is stress reaction that Jasprit Bumrah suffered, and for which he spent a considerable time at the NCA in Bangalore before he came back into the Indian team for the series against Australia? What exactly is stress reaction?
So every reaction in chemistry has a reactant and a product.
Right.
Okay, so reaction is a complete process where you have a reactant and a product.
Okay.
So what is a reactant? It can be no use, it can be overuse, it can be misuse, underuse, repetitive use, and all those things. Use. So in Jasprit Bumrah's thing, the reactant was overuse. Okay, underuse to nahi, it's not underuse. He's not using the shoulder. It's not a case. He's using the shoulder. So how is he using the shoulder? He's overusing the shoulder. And how many times? So what is he doing to maintain that drag? What is he doing to maintain that standards of fitness? What is he doing for his flexibility, for power, for endurance, for hand-to-hand coordination, and rest of the other things like the sleep deprivation and the recovery of the muscle? What is he doing? What is his trainer and the SNC doing? I'm sure that when he is into a rehabilitation protocol, he abides by everything that a trainer and SNC says. But when you come to represent the nation, the outcomes are different, the conditions are different. Sometimes the injury happens because of the ground conditions. Sometimes it happens because you have had another fall that was not predictable. For example, if you're fielding and you fall in an abnormal angle and you just recovered from an injury, obviously injury demeans your condition. Okay, it's never going to be the same as it was before you got injured. If I break a hand, you think my hand is going to be as good as it was before breaking? No. So now it can be stronger. It can be stronger if you have put collective amount of stress over the period of time, that it can become as strong as that. But the moment you come out of that injury in a short span of time, let's say 3 months, 4 months, you are predictable that if you fall on that very angle, you might just reenact the situation and the reaction might take place again. So this is a reaction. So Jasprit Bumrah is an ace athlete who realizes that this injury has happened, and he can appropriately gauge that happening earlier than what is not with a ace athlete. So he has predicted this reaction has started. So he has taken back his sporting career. He will take off, come back with double the amount of force, and I'm sure SNC and the physio will work in their favor. Now this time Jasprit Bumrah should overtly train more in terms of his health and not rush into coming back, because he's aging, and I'm sure he's intelligent enough to look after into this matter.
So which may he may have to give up a bit of cricket also?
No.
So no. You are saying he is good enough to play all 3 formats of the game?
100%. See, there is no all and none law in sports. There's no all and none law. Okay, if he's been playing, why not all the 3 formats? Why not? What are you doing to make him fit? The point is, why are you asking to eliminate things? Why are you not stepping and jumping into the situation and telling me what is causing this reaction to again? Tell me the reason why this reaction happened. I'm going to cure it. And he's not just going to play 3 formats. I can make him play all 355 days a year. Tell me what has caused this reaction. A pinpoint diagnosis as to this caused this reaction. Don't jump into rehabilitation. If you rest Jasprit Bumrah and ask him to do nothing, it will heal. He'll come back, because he is one of the few gifted athletes in the world who have represented India.
So you're saying
Tell me the condition why and what condition made this happen. What is the reason behind this stress reaction? Don't tell me he is suffering from stress reaction.
okay,
Tell me that reason.
okay, that only Bumrah can tell you.
No, experts will tell.
The people who are working with
Yes,
Jasprit Bumrah,
yes,
the
if they
people
have nailed
who
it.
attended to Bumrah at the NCA in Bangalore.
You have to tell the condition why the reaction happened. You tell me the reason why this happened. You'll be able to treat it, and you will get this guy back before time.
How much time does it take for a stress reaction to heal?
Reaction takes around 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6
Fracture takes
months.
6 months to a year.
And Jasprit Bumrah spent close to 2 months. So there's another theory that maybe he was undercooked, maybe he was not fully fit when he came back into action, when he came back into the Indian team. He hardly bowled 6 overs. Basically, the first game that he was supposed to play, he didn't play that game. Then the next game was a rain curtailed game, 8 overs aside. There he bowled just 2 overs. Thereafter, in the third T20 international against Australia, he bowled 4 overs. So only 6 overs he bowled. I don't know how many overs did he bowl in the nets, but as far as competitive game is concerned, he bowled 6 overs. So is it possible, when you say that stress reaction takes close to say about 3 months to heal, is it possible that he was not fully fit?
See, whenever you go into match imitation, you can never compare the Indian standards of match to any domestic match. Okay, you always have a 30% load of anxiety over your shoulders when you represent India. Okay, so unless you go and you try your hands in the match, you can never say that I have tested my mettle. Okay, this is the first thing. The second thing is, whenever an athlete bounces back from injury, supporting staff, the coaches, the manager always take it light for the player to come and perform. They will never let them go full throttle. Okay, first match, second match, they'll take it easy and see how the player is responding. Always will happen. So if he has bowled 6 over, then the management was in consideration, and they will always do that. Me as a therapist will also do that. If coach is flexible kind, he listens to my word, I would always say take it easy for him the first match. And if there's a need, he can bowl 10 overs. If there's a need of finishing it up in 6 over, why not finish him in 6 over? Why I want to drag him? Let's say if the team is like 8 down and he has bowled 6 overs, and we have good 90 runs to score before we win the match, and only 2 hands in 2 wickets in hand for the opposition. Why would I bowl Jasprit Bumrah to finish it off? No. No. So if I am bouncing man, I'm confident with my player, okay, he's good. My work is done, I won, rest of the bowler will take the wicket. Now when he comes back, I would see how many overs did he bowl in the second match. Did he bowl 7 overs, 8 overs, 9 overs? If he did, then we say that yes, Jasprit Bumrah is testing the mettle. So how did the injury happen is going to make a comment, question mark. Whether he was undercooked or overcooked, you need to ask the players or the management staff who were responsible. I don't know. But my answer would be, tell me the reason why the reaction happened. Don't tell me the bone fractured there, the reaction happened there. Tell me why is it happening with him. Don't tell me the orthodox action. That is a scapegoat. He is going to go like
this is not coming from a medical expert or a sports therapist. This was I'm talking about 5 years, say 4 years ago, when he actually made his debut. This was just even today. I remember Shoaib Akhtar recently, he mentioned that a lot of bowlers, fast bowlers who have a sidearm action, they perhaps are less susceptible or vulnerable to injuries like these, but somebody who has a front arm action like Jasprit Bumrah, in the past we've seen a lot of other fast bowlers who've who've had issues with their backs, they have. So is it, I'm not saying that as you're saying that it is because of the action.
I don't believe so.
So why is it that lately a lot of Indian fast bowlers have that problem with the back only?
See, every fast bowler suffers from backache. He's the only machine in your arsenal who's going to fire like a machine gun. Okay, so who's an athlete in your team? I don't consider any of the batsmen an athlete. I only consider the fast bowlers as athletes. So as a therapist, when I'm in the team, for me, my icing on the cake is a 5 bowler. And if you want to predict a support staff and a therapist grades of management, you see the fast bowler in the team. Okay. The second thing is, when you talk about sidearm action, front arm action, or whatever it is, every sidearm action had a bad strain. Didn't Shoaib Akhtar was suffered from the same injury? You think his back won't injure? How is he just telling Bumrah would suffer from? I say, tell me any bowler he suffered from back strain of 5 years. Michael Holding, didn't he suffer from back strain? You protecting a player, I give you an advance 5 years down the line, they said he's going to get injured. What? The idea is not to predict that he's going to go down. The idea is tell me what you're going to do to make him fit and not go down.
Okay.
The most orthodox action you see is Lasit Malinga. Did he ever get injured? Yes, he did.
Yes.
Most, you got a beautiful action, McGrath, didn't get injured. Brett Lee, injured.
No, is it because you also used a word like stress?
So now the deal is, see,
or anxiety.
I had given before my interviews before also, I would tell that at the end of the day, when the player is bowling in a test match, he ends up bowling 26 kilometers, he ends up running around 26 kilometers in a day. How many times in your life have you done 26 kilometers? Now the question is, if you are bowling in a domestic circuit and you are 150, I bet you, I can bet millions on you that you will hit the deck hard and you will be in and out in 10 hours. Okay. Your metals will be tested in the waters where, you know, the turbulence will create ripples and the animals like you will be in the sea. Okay, you bowl 150, the batsman also has faced a lot of bowlers who bowl 150, so you're not going to get your head out of the ground in one day. Now the pressure comes on you when you have to bowl 20 overs, 26 overs. So my research says when you end up being one day on ground, you end up running 26 kilometers. Have you ever in your life ran 26 kilometers? And who tells that you don't have to run? When you listen to the yesterday patient, the ego clashes. You say, oh, you were playing less, that's why you get injured. People who play less also get injured.
You must have come across cases like these. Any example in the past, or you could just...
Past means what?
Any back issues, players with back issues, and what exactly you did.
You ask an inspector, have you ever hit a victim?
No, I know. I'm just so that we can if you can give an example as to if you've seen a player.
Okay. So now we had a series. We ended a series here, and a bowler had a grade 3 tear. Okay. Now how would you treat? I get a CT scan or ultrasound done, and I have a grade 3 tear in the abdomen, oblique scores. How many days does grade 3 tear takes? On record, 3 weeks to 3 months. Simple as that. Another player had a grade 3 hamstring strain. How many days does it take to heal? 3 weeks to 3 months. Simple as that. Okay. Grade 3 quadriceps strain. How much time does it take? 3 weeks, 3 months. They are playing the next day, the next match within 3 days, and they hit 50, they hit 100, and they hit deck hard 3 wickets, and they win our matches. So now my take is, how can they do that? And can a player overcome pain and perform? Second question. Third question is, if he can do that, what is the capacity or the capability of a patient to perform in such situations? What leads them? And what is the difference between an ace performer and a mediocre performer? So now everything comes on understanding of the biomechanics of the body. Okay, the first thing is, are you prepared for the day? Second thing is, did you diagnose the problem properly? Third thing is, how much willing is the patient to abide by your law and your program? Okay, how much willing is he to give his body and soul for the nation? All right. So these factor creates a difference between Tendulkar and any other domestic circuit players. All right. When you are on ground, you never call a therapist. That's the greatness you have. That's the responsibility that you share on your shoulders. Okay. That's the amount of willpower that you have. Second thing is, are you open to suggestions? Do you lay trust 100% on your doctors? Do you disclose everything? Second thing. Third thing is, how much heart and soul do you give to your rehabilitation? How much disciplined are you? Are you sleeping on time? Are you having your drugs? How are you having your exercises? Doing exercises properly? Are you abiding by the laws or not? Or are you a deterrent, or you are not abiding by the laws? So what makes you a big and a
abiding by the laws, as in you're not taking those prohibited substances?
No, not that thing. I'm not talking. I don't know about that. Mitchell Johnson was under observation for 4 months before the Ashes series.
Right.
Okay. His sleep was recorded, that is abiding by the law. Okay. His food was measured, that is abiding by the law.
Okay.
His bowling was measured, number of balls were measured, proper apparels were measured, whatever he was having, liquid he was having, everything was recorded. 4 months later, 3 people went into depression, 4 retired from England, and that's how the series ended. Yes. You created a nuclear bomb. Okay, and this is how a player should be treated. This is abiding by the law. You see a player performing in a match, it's like an artist performing in the day in a movie. You think this is a product of a day? How are you going to change the direction of bowling? You can't do that. That's crime. A bowler is gifted with something, you are going to change its action. What makes you think that you can change the angle? Now, if I as a doctor I tell you what is surgery? When you can't do anything about something, you cut and throw. That's reverse anatomy. Is that what you say treatment? No. Restore what he has. That's the beauty of it. Don't give prediction that he's going to get injured. I can do that as a storyteller. Tell me what is to be done so that we avoid injury. Tell me. So now we're talking about injury of Bumrah. Tell me why he got injured.
So you are saying you don't have to do anything extraordinary with Jasprit Bumrah. It's just that he has to do things that a normal human being.
So I come back to the earlier question asked.
Right.
Grade 3 injury. How will it heal in 3 days? What made it happen? Don't tell me the ultrasound report that we had a grade 3 injury. Tell me why this grade 3 injury happened. Do you have the answer to that? So where I saw the problem was there was a hip that was unstable. Hip was coming out of the socket. You could hear the voice. The moment the athlete was rolling his hip, it was making noise, cracking noises. So are you going to treat the abdomen, the oblique which is torn, grade 3, or are you going to treat the hip which is out of the socket every time the player lands in a certain angle? He has to turn his body to a level. What are you doing by rehabilitating internal obliques? You can't do that. Tell me what you did so that the athlete is not turning. I'm going to rehabilitate the hip. In 3 days, if the hip is going to fire, which takes 72 hours, my player was on the ground and he had 3 wickets.
So the many people or many Bumrah fans or fans of Indian cricket, you are saying that Jasprit Bumrah, if he gets the right treatment and if he does all things that are advised to him according to the doctor's advice, he is good enough to last long enough and also is good enough to play all 3 formats of the game?
Where is the question?
No, I'm saying.
Where is the question? I mean, for how long can you live? For how long can you eat? Same question. Why won't he play? And I'm sure that the kind of support staff we have in Indian team, he has to bounce back. And they have to prove their medal and the Jasprit Bumrah have to show that he bleeds blue. You have to see Bumrah bowl in all the 3 formats. You cannot pick such an asset, such an arsenal you have in your side. Why would he rest?
This one thing that I wanted to ask you, it's not just limited to just cricket. I'm talking about sports in general in India. Do you think there's a lack of some, compared to other nations or other countries, the knowledge about sports science in India is less than perhaps in other countries?
Why would I consider it less?
No, I'm just asking you because you know that you are, you are part of that field, or maybe
See, I don't know about the people who are working here. I have not worked with them, but I know that I have to rely on my shoulders. I have to be confident in my own self. Okay, I've been serving with this nation for 15 years now, and I'm very close to these people playing Indian cricket and all the Olympians. I haven't seen the injury happening when I'm there. And I'm sure there are people like me who had great times where they don't have injury. So my question to bring back the attention of everyone is, tell me why this injury happened. Was his foot turning in more when he was bowling, his calf got tight and that led to the amount of reaction to his back? Or maybe he fell somewhere in any of the series and he hurt his hip so that injury is flared up. Did he hit his back which never healed and you are imposing the same injury and he fell in one direction, it breaks the same reaction again? Tell me why it happened. Don't tell me that injury reaction happened. Don't give me the excuse that a radiologist or a radio technician will do. You're not a radio technician. Tell me why this injury happened. Pinpoint diagnosis and pinpoint treatment. And I'm going to see this boy playing all the 3 formats throughout his life.
Now it is 4 if you include IPL.
Doesn't matter. It can be 40. It can be 40. He is born to bleed. He is born to bleed. He's an athlete. He's get injured. So what? I as an athlete have broken a number
short run up and the kind of pace that he generates, it has nothing to do with. It has nothing to do with action.
Sir, every athlete in the world has got injured.
I completely agree with you.
How is he an alien?
Just because I completely agree. I don't think there is any athlete who plays competitive cricket or any sport has not been injured ever. As you're right.
Don't get disappointed. Send him to me. I'll set him right. I'll make him play all the 4 formats throughout his life.
There you go.
If you don't get a chance getting treatment, I'm sure BCCI is going to do that because he is a beautiful kid and I know Bumrah for a long time and I know he's going to bowl. I don't see any fast bowler resting for his career. I see him play till 37 years of his life. I don't see him sit. You can't prove it, send it to me, I'll prove it. Oh, what's what? There's no fun when you don't see a fast bowler bowl at its speed. I went to Southampton just to see him and Bhuvi. You know, I'm working very closely with Bhuvi, and I haven't seen Bhuvi wrestling a single match. Every time I laid my hands on, he was man of the series, man of the match. So what? Why are you not handling Bhuvi properly? Why is he in and out? A player like Bhuvi should not be in and out. He has to perform at the speed of 135 to 40. He's such an easy kid to handle. I've been after him for his life. Why was he going out in the squad? I don't understand how a kid like Bhuvi can get injured. Never. You can't handle it. Send him to me. I am going to prove it.
There you go.
So don't just see.
The mandarins of Indian cricket, they're listening to Dr. Saif. You have your answer. Rope him in. Although you know there are a lot of in fact franchisees, cricket teams, even you know the Olympians who've represented India at the pinnacle of sports, that's the Olympics. He has advised them, he has worked with them, and they've had some fruitful results with Dr. Saif. Although you know I have Jasprit Bumrah, he has been playing for Mumbai Indians for such a long time. You know, last few years we saw that not a lot of players from Mumbai or Mumbai Indians rather, they wouldn't use the facilities provided by the BCCI, that is NCA, National Cricket Academy in Bangalore. They had more faith and trust in the facilities provided by the Mumbai Indians. Now, what happened thereafter? Rahul Dravid, of course, was heading the NCA at that time. He wrote a stinker of an email to the BCCI. He said, "This is unacceptable. We have all the facilities." But unfortunately, what we have been, because Bumrah is now a prime example, and it is something that has gone terribly wrong. You know, a top class player, Jasprit Bumrah, gets injured. He has, and now you have 4 months to go, 4.5 months to go for the T20 World Cup. And what we get to learn is that he was not fully fit. At least, you know, for a layman like me, you may have a different viewpoint because you are a medical expert. But for me, I need to fix the accountability. Who's to be blamed for this? Is it people in the NCA? Because I remember Riddhiman Saha once had mentioned that his shoulder, he had some, I believe that you might be aware of it, that Riddhiman Saha, he had issues with his shoulder, and that also he went to NCA. Perhaps even that wasn't fixed properly, and now what has happened is Jasprit Bumrah. This is something I believe that accountability has to be fixed. Who is to be blamed, or somebody has to come up with an answer. You have been, I can't say whether you've been part of the system, but people have roped in you for your services. Arshdeep, at such a young age, again you would say that you would want to see him and he has to tell you, where did this happen?
See, देखिए, as a therapist, player has to keep mum and the therapist has to work. I don't allow my players to speak when I am diagnosing them.
Okay. Are you a strict taskmaster?
Anyone in his field, when he's the master of his field, he listens to his own self. There's an intuition that goes in. Okay, I'm not going to teach Tendulkar what his house to play. Can you teach him?
No, not at all.
So if I have invested 15 years of my life studying this field of physiotherapy, how would I ask you to interfere in my work? Obviously, I'll give you a room to get comfortable, but I'm not going to give you a room to dictate terms on my bed. The first thing, and that's too humbly. I cannot ask my player to outrightly bear the pain when I'm grunching him in. Okay, that I don't do. But the deal is, when a person comes to me, I have to give him a diagnosis. This is why it happened, and it has to make sense. Okay, and I will prove it through my treatment that this never happened before. 15 years I've been serving this nation. Everyone knows me. It's not that I'm not in the system. Everyone knows me. Everyone in the NCA,
in
out
the
of
fraternity,
every person in the
you know, that is, I know you.
There are people
that is the reason why I didn't ask you for a response on what I said.
To be honest, I know that there are people better than me who are serving the nation now. Okay, and in last 2 or 3 years, if you see, it was COVID time. So if you're talking about a nation and the resources, if you're talking about BCCI, it is looking after 27 nations, the states. State within the state and within the state. There are 5 teams in every state that BCCI caters.
Right.
Okay. And the amount of hot water tournaments, the autumn's tournament, the spring tournament they have a lot of it on their shoulders. Okay. And it's a big family for BCCI. You talk about one franchisee, a big czar entering a business and only handling 15 players like a boss. Obviously, you're going to give the player a VIP treatment. Okay, any player who enters your franchisee, okay, you will serve him everything on the menu. Okay, and he's going to enjoy it. So when you are complacent in your zone, obviously you're going to feel, okay, I've been catered served well. But what about the nation and the body who is governing and looking after
Dr. Saif, I completely agree with you.
Now my take is, don't talk about MI, don't talk about BCCI, NCA. My only question is, sir, tell me, why did this injury happen? Do you have an answer to it? Don't tell me the diagnosis that this is stress reaction. Tell me, why did this stress reaction happen?
I am sure.
If you don't have the answer, come to me, bring this guy to me. I'll tell you
absolutely, I agree with you. I'm sure Jasprit Bumrah has the answer. I'm sure Nitin Patel, who's the head of that medical company.
No, Jasprit Bumrah, if we would have an answer, he would never get injured. These guys are players, they are not technical experts.
That's why I'm saying, I'm saying Jasprit Bumrah, by now, 4 months after he got injured, he must have been told. There's a huge medical team, there's a huge entourage of medical experts who are looking after Jasprit Bumrah. I'm sure they, by now at least, they would have been aware what exactly has gone wrong with Jasprit Bumrah, or for that matter Harshal Patel, or for that matter Bhuvneshwar Kumar, or for that matter Arshdeep recently. But if they have not been able to fix these injuries, there has to be something wrong. I agree that BCCI is looking after, there are so many state associations and all these things, but it is a parent body. You get, if you are getting paid as in if broadcasters are splurging 50,000 crores for an IPL tournament, I'm sure you have the financial power, or you have the kind of money that is needed to rope in medical expert, top class medical experts.
See, the system has to change. Okay, the real fact is, when I was working for domestic and I left domestic, I don't like working with senior Ranji Trophy players, because I've been there and I have seen everything. I've seen the seasoned players, and now there's a motivation for me. Okay, I have tired and retired as a therapist because there's a motivation for me. I've been as a head therapist to IPL. I've led a lot of people around the globe, like Lara's been my patient, Sangakara, Mulidharan,
In fact, just to interrupt you briefly. In fact, just before this, we shot this video. Dr. Saif was telling us, because he was recently working with the Road Safety Series, the Road Safety World Series. In fact, he was telling us about Brian Lara. He had perhaps a lot of stiffness in his body.
I can't disclose anything, but the thing is, see, the deal is, I just want to tell you one thing. Get your basics right and tell me why the injury happened. Don't tell me the injury, the name of the injury. I'm not scared of the injury. Tell me, why did it happen? Did you slip on ground, or were you jumping and you trembled, or there was a hole in the ground where you let your feet in, and that's caused the injury? So now injury is not going to be cured only by muscular system. Tell me about how brain perceived the injury. There was a player who came to me, he always had a lateral ankle sprain when he used to play badminton.
Okay.
Third time he came with ecchymosed feet, which was 2 inches thick, and it was blackened all round. It is a serious injury. Every time he comes, he has a massive strain with bleeding, internal bleeding, and every time he's wrapped. A surgeon wrapped him for a month and a half, took it out, and it was all sclerosed. So what now? I have to bear the grunge, start mobilizing the feet. It took me around 15 days. Next time when I said, don't go for a thing, just get the x-ray right, whether the bone is fractured or not. Don't get the plaster casting done. He came in, 3 days he was better. Third time when he came in, I said, no, this is not right. Every time he's coming with the same injury, there has to be something to do. So I learned a technique from South Africa, and we were diagnosing the problem. I found out, although your eye can see, but the brain has a blind spot once you get injured. Okay, if I hit you as a boxer from this side, brain will switch off the dimension on the right quadrant. Now this is the blind spot for you. Anytime a person will dodge you from the right and hit you from the left, you can't see that. Okay, so now your injury will always happen when there is something coming from the right side. This guy, when he used to shuttle from the right side on the back, left side of the backhand, and used to I used to switch off. And that was the quadrant, and he trembled and slipped, and always there was a left ankle sprain, ATFL strain on the left side, and always ecchymosis and contusion. So now what I did, there's a technique when you open the blind spot. It's been 2 years, he's been playing badminton all throughout, no injury. So where is the muscle strengthening gone? I never did it for him. And it's in researches now. You study, you get the answer. So now my take for the domestic team, I proposed a plan. I said, formulate a thing where you pay equally to every therapist working with under 14, 16, 18 and 21. Okay. And I'll be handling under 12 team. Any therapist who's a senior most therapist should be stationed, should teach and look after the junior most athletes. Any senior therapist should see the sub-junior team, 14 teams, so that you lay good foundation stone. And then you teach all the therapists from all the senior teams and make them shuffle. Important matches, quarterfinals, qualify, you go, you travel. But you should be stationed at one center and teach people. It should reciprocate, it should peripheralize, your education to peripheralize. But who are the takers? Who would do it for juniors? How many people are motivated enough to teach sub-juniors and junior athletes? Are you motivated enough? What is the infrastructure? What is the financial stature? If you get me 1 rupee, someone else is working 50 paisa, the other one is employed by 25 paisa. Grade every therapist equally financially and then motivate them to go and travel. You will not see a single therapist traveling with the Ranji Trophy team, leaving his family.
You know, with all this conversation, two things that for me are important. A is that Jasprit Bumrah should be fine. There's no threat to his career, at least going by what Dr. Saif has said. B, the foundation, as he said. You know, the younger you start, as in if you give a right kind of medical, if you have right kind of medical expertise for the youngsters, I think that's the right time to start, if I get you right. And these are the two things that I could gauge from what Dr. Saif just mentioned in all this conversation. And by the way, you tell me, I don't because we know about you speaking to so many players, because you know, just a mention of you and people know, the players know. In fact, players have a lot of players have spoken about you. They know you, and so I don't doubt any of your skills or whatever you've used. So you tell me, I have this, can you see this swelling? It's a bone. Can it be fixed? I think my this little finger is also broken, but it's been for years now. Can it be fixed today?
So now my question is, how is this?
How is there exactly?
Okay. The second thing is, you know, I have hairs on my ear. Can you see that?
Sir, yeah.
I have hairs on my ear. Yeah. Can you see that?
Not.
I have it. I don't have it. How is it going to create any change for you? And how is it troubling me? You might see it wrong. It's your problem. Okay, if it doesn't make any sense to me, I'm not going to shave it. What is this doing to your hand?
It is.
What is it doing?
I said, you know, I can't use this finger. So it's now, not flexible enough.
So now two questions arise. When you give and ask me a question, I'm going to segregate it and bring it to table like an intelligent question. Okay, you told me that this is the bone outgrowth. What are you going to do for this?
No, it got broken, by the way.
1 second. Okay, let's say it is broken. Now it is healed with a contusion and a callus formation. Okay, and you say this was also broken, the right finger, and now it goes haywire. So what do you exactly want? You want this to look good and get better, or you want to get it functional? Doesn't matter, it looks good or not.
To get it functional.
So what have you done?
I can move this finger, for example, I can move this finger freely, but when I move this finger, it does pain.
So now what have you done to rehabilitate this finger?
Nothing.
So what are you asking me then? Ask yourself.
No, I'm saying, so because
See,
I never went to any...
So now, so problem is that you are getting into a question where this callus formation is not going to make you heal. Okay, is it giving you any problem? No. This is not functioning properly. That means I have to do something to this so that it heals. You have not done anything. So will I be effective in your treatment or not?
I hope so.
You hope so?
Yeah.
You have not done anything and still you're surviving. You think you will do something to correct and you're not going to survive? 100%.
No, I will.
100%.
No, yes. I will, but it's not 100% functional.
So did you do anything to get it functional?
No.
So how are you not confident that if you do something, it's going to get better?
I don't get time to visit people like you.
Okay, doesn't matter. You come to me, or maybe I can teach you certain exercises. You can do it on your own. Finger is just this bit of bone. You can sit and you can exercise.
That's what I would.
So now, when you come to rehabilitation, all the basics comes to you now first. First thing is, are you willing to get it right? What are you doing to do it? What are you doing to recorrect it? Second thing, how disciplined are you? How motivated are you?
I am very
zero motivation.
Zero
motivation.
No,
zero. Now this athlete is going to represent India. Am I correct?
I am not.
No. definitely you are also. You know, you have a big responsibility over your shoulder. You are representing India. You are a face of our society, isn't it? You are the fourth constitutional player. So if you need to go out and handle the camera or maybe the mic and it hurts, you will definitely think about it.
So
this is your motivation now. You're sitting here and we are talking. If your tongue or your throat hurts, definitely it will be a motivation, but you lose your voice, you won't earn. This guy is bleeding blue. Why? Because this is his earning soul. He is putting his body on what and for what reason? To make us happy.
True.
Yes, he is earning the bit, but what is he losing? He is getting 20 years cut from his life in terms of happiness, and that's why he's earning. You need to respect that, okay? And when it goes down, all the system goes down. Don't tell me that this guy is out just for a reason because reaction and you become a scapegoat. No, take the responsibility, come up to me and tell me why this reaction happened. You have the guts, tell me. You don't bring me on, I'm going to tell you what happened. It will never happen again. And one thing, when you treat an injury, this should never come back again.
With Bumrah,
it's not about Bumrah. I'm not talking about BCCI. I'm not talking about any other authority.
No,
I'm just telling you, this guy is getting re-injured for the same injury. It's a shame.
Yes.
It's a shame.
Yes.
It's a shame. Okay. And not because I'm blaming the system. It's not about the system. It's not about the guy. Tell yourself that there has to be something that we didn't look into. We are not questioning about the ability and the effort that the system has put in. Okay. If there's a stress reaction, don't focus only on the back. Tell me what is the reason why the reaction happened and you will nail it. Unless you find the cause, keep searching, keep fighting, fight your own self, fight for the system. And if you can nail it, this guy will never come back for injury.
Interesting. So if people or the powers that be are listening to Dr. Saif, there you go. A lot of people, I'm sure he's not a difficult man to reach. A lot of people has his number, and if not, you can always get back to us. So that's Dr. Saif, and Dr. Saif has his clinic, unless he's not traveling. So he has his clinic in Gurgaon, and of course in Green Park also there are different timings, so you can also consult him if you wish to. So that's all we have here, just trying to dissect what exactly went wrong with Jasprit Bumrah and with the Indian fast bowlers or the fast bowlers in general over the years. As he's mentioned, Shoaib Akhtar recently, that was given to, of course, on Sports-Tak. He had mentioned that it could be because of the front arm action. He's dissected or he's trashed a lot of myths about this back injury to fast bowlers. So there he is. Hope you enjoyed and liked this video.
Before you end, can I just intervene and tell you?
Sure.
I'll name Saklai Mushtaq, who had 2 ACL tears, got operated, broken fractures, created fractures, and then he never healed. He was out of the Pakistani squad because of a reason, okay? And I met him in Master Champions League. I was a sports team therapist for that team.
Okay.
And he came in as a coach. His manager screwed it and made it as a player because of a reason. He had to play without a formation or preparation.
Right.
He played every match and he was the match winner for us, okay? And there were certain exercises. He was about to be under the knife, okay? And it saved him. 2015 was the season, and now it is 2022. He is now getting it operated because there's not got a good therapist there. Okay, so 7 years he has survived without the surgery, which was due in 2016. How did he survive? And why is he not getting okay?
Must have got advice.
So you need good people on board. Okay, and the second thing is, don't shy off injuries. Okay, why is Shoaib Akhtar getting arthroplasty or full arthroplasty?
Exactly.
So if Bumrah is being commented upon his action, there has to be something else also that player has to look into. So there has to be something, and these players, they are naive people. They are not medical experts.
True.
So people who are bearing responsibility of making them fit should be a little more responsible and find out the real diagnosis. This debate is not about getting them low or getting yourself high. It's about, find a reason. Search in your own heart, why is the reason that you don't restrict yourself to these many injuries. Just find out a cause, why this reaction is happening. What led to Shoaib Akhtar's knee demise? What led to his back fracture? What led to Saklai Mushtaq's fracture and other senior players? Why are people at the age of 50 still playing without an injury? It's been a second season. RSWS, road traffic. Anyone who came in had multiple traumas and injuries, but no one ever suffered from any injury in the Olympic tournament. I can abide by you, so by you. And you can ask anyone who was playing, no injury. So now the deal is to click the right diagnosis and to nail it. Don't talk about Bumrah not playing 3 matches. He's a lovely chap, I know him. gifted bowler. India will never see a bowler as gifted as this and Bumrah and Shami. And I've laid my hands on all, other than Bumrah, everyone. So I know people who are inside out, and these people are gifted. You will not see these again. So them again. So you need to segregate the causes of injury, okay, and nail the injury reason. This is what has happened. If you want to take the debate forward this thing that they have to pinpoint the diagnosis. You can't beat around the bush.
Interesting bit of anecdotes as well. As I said, road safety series, it was actually pretty interesting that all these players who had retired years ago didn't suffer a single injury during this 2-week long tournament. Besides that, earlier this year, he was also associated with the Legends League. There also, I doubt if any of the players, because I was there in Muscat, Oman, earlier this year when that Legends League happened, and even I didn't see any player missing out due to injury or except for COVID. A few of the players had to miss out on.
That's not an injury.
Exactly.
Show me a person who's sitting out of injury, and it's not me. Any good therapist will make sure that it happens. A therapist from Liverpool served for Liverpool 35 years, and you know what, he was working on only on athletes who were above 35 years. They have an academy which only handles aged athletes. They make them 5 years younger. That is motivation for us, okay? And you say India is not talented enough. Everywhere in the world, 40% of the brain runs on India. It's not rocket science, but even the rockets are required Indian brain. So don't say that we don't trust. Yes, they are trustworthy people, and I'm sure people who are working for Indian team are better than me, and they will look forward into the matter. But with Bumrah and other people have to be careful with fragile souls. Okay, so they are serving the nation and they will bleed blue. You can't stop them from playing. I have to stop my players from playing the match. You have to be preemptive. Don't listen to them. Feel free being in your shoes and keep firmly your feet on ground. Don't feel charged up when you see a player like him that if you have to say something, you're feeling a little shy of speaking your heart out. Even if like support staff has been changed recently, please speak your heart out. Talk to coach to offload the player. Talk to the player so that he's also settled in his heart and his brain, and you don't see such kind of injuries happening again. It's shameful.
All right, Dr. Saab, that was pretty informative, and for us it was, and hopefully it was for you as well. That's it from now, from here. We'll see you soon.